or Kalista doesn't really work for us, or hyper carries, what are they? We only play around 2 lanes. It's simply not good enough, and you can fault the Unicorns for that.
Well, the question is it because they don't feel like they can play the champions? I don't think so, because they have some good players here with good mechanics. I think more it's the mindset you have of how you want to play League of Legends, what kind of compositions you want to run, which seems to be different compared to all the other teams playing the meta right now. And it just puts you in a disadvantage unless you're so good at playing these specific picks that it will
bend the game too. Yeah.
Then basically you create the meta somehow. But now we have so many other regions doing basically the opposite, and they do it for a reason.
Well, we'll have to discuss this a little further if we get to a 3-0 from Origen towards Unicorns of Love in what could be the last European game on 5/14.
Gankplank
Lulu, Kalista, Braum is banned away from Unicorns of Love. We see Victor taken off the table from PoE. Peke says, I don't want to get killed by that anymore. And first pick, Pirate problems.
And this is the one pick for Vizicsacsi in top lane where we don't say, okay, he's just on a tank. Now he's on a carry. He's going to build full damage. He had one game on it against H2K.
Yeah.
He got a lot of kills, but we didn't get to see much from him when it came to his barrel mechanics. We need to see if he can beat Soaz. Fizz is open.
Yep.
The pick Soaz took into Huni and killed him multiple times.
Yeah, Soaz will actually be happy with this, because this means he doesn't have to steal the Maokai away, a champion he hasn't played all season except twice now. Obviously doesn't seem to really want to play Maokai all that much.
Yeah.
He can get the Fizz into this matchup. Not only that, right now Vardags is pressured again. He lost his Elise, his Corki is gone too. He has to go into Tristana, and that means the Unicorns will have to start catering around him. They can do that. They now have a global ultimate to support him when he goes for these all-ins. They have an aggressive support. Hylissang is a fantastic Tresh player if he can get the picks. That means Unicorns of Life will need to orient themselves around bot lane and top lane at the same time and see if they can make that work.
And we could clearly see how Origen were baiting out this Gankplank.
Right, they knew.
Braum came in as the last ban for Unicorn, so Origen had to decide, okay, we know they're going to first play the Gankplank if we leave it open. Do we want to ban it? No, instead take away Victor because it has been a good pick for PowerOfEvil. We should still expect that Fizz to come in, and you can even save now your mid lane pick for Peke if you want him to have a counter matchup.
You can flex the Fizz.
You can flex it as well. We have seen him play it in mid lane as well.
Yeah, Peke has got his hands on that once before for Origen. Adapting is something that we actually heard from the tweet, as well as we've seen in the best of 5 against Rocket that helped them win the series. There is that Fizz that we're expecting. What else do they add in?
So
the top lane or support?
I would have gone with Alistair, but I can understand if Origen wants more hard engage and they take an Annie.
yeah, because looking at what Unicorns have so far, Gankplank is no engage. He's not going to run at your enemy team, but he can set up barrels really effectively to protect his back line. Tristana obviously sitting back there, hypercare with the long range. So Origen probably respecting the fact that Unicorns could start running a poke comp. We have seen it time and time again for PowerOfEvil. He likes to play these scaling poke champions in the mid lane. Peke even stole away one of his picks in the last game. So Origen, I feel like this support pick is basically saying, we can see what you're building towards, and we're just going to stop it already. Yeah, we're going to stop it right now, you know? We're not even going to let you go for it.
We'll see whether or not Origen...
Why is English so hard, man?
Oh, I know.
One day we will cast in Danish, please.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, okay, hold on. Reset. So, Mithy, Annie, Engage, as well as the Flex Fizz. Origen had a very poor tower dive in the previous game. It could have been punished more. It could have been more problematic, but it was not.
Ooh.
We are going to see Azir for the first time from PowerOfEvil, as well as Horo going back to Elise, the champion that he played throughout the quarterfinals, throughout his Week 9 games.
So he did say he could carry on Azir and Victor.
Well, he said he had a backpack.
Yeah, sure. And they could jump into it and he will take care of the rest.
It's not that big at the moment.
Well, I mean, he's been doing his job. He was 7-0 game 1. He got a kill solo
where did it lead
game
him?
2. I mean, how much do you want him to do?
10-0.
Well, regardless of that, it wasn't enough to help the team, and he's going to be playing against his, let's dare say, one signature champion, Varus.
Okay, so we get a little bit of everything from Origen.
Yep.
We have the split pushing component in the Fizz. We have the long-range poke from both Peke and Niels, and then Mithy, because again, they were looking a little bit towards this very backline heavy composition from Unicorns. They wanted some engage, so we get a little bit of everything. And then Varus is the counter pick to Azir.
A little bit of everything except tanks. We have one almost tanky champion in Elise in this game, which means a lot of brawling, a lot of fighting, a lot of picks coming out. One could even call it chaos. I know there's a certain analyst out there that really likes this style come out.
We could just see Soaz though
devolve into the start. Yeah.
Yeah, Soaz can just go 24 tank, but obviously again he is spray pushing. So
Not by definition
yeah,
super
yeah,
tanky.
exactly. It's not a Maokai.
It's not about
By any means.
Not like the 2 previous games, but for Origen, they also have an explosive team composition that wants to get the damage down and look to engage.
These team fights can be over in like 5 seconds, basically.
Oh, yes.
There's so much damage on both sides.
Cannot wait. Ducky and Sheepy leaving the farmyard of the middle of the stage for what could be the last time of 2015. For Origen, this regional qualifier has exposed a lot of weaknesses. Yes, that's the weaknesses hand signal. But it's also shown how good they can be. Side lane manipulation, pick and ban adaptation, you know, depth of character down against Roccat in what could be the last game of the year. And Origen smashed them in 24 minutes. Now let's see if Unicorns can dig deep. Can they avoid another 0-3 sweep? It's the Unicorns of Love taking on Origen in the final game of our regional qualifier.
Really interested to see if Origen want to take normal lanes or opt in for a swap here. Strategically speaking, they are by a large margin the better lane swapping team, so they could bend the game to their will. In my opinion, with that, Unicorns have shown that they've just not been adapting the greatest. They've got maybe the first 5 minutes down, but then they haven't played enough games correctly to get through that later on.
And the thing about that top lane matchup, Soaz wants to get his level 6 before he really wants to start going all in against the Gankplank, and that's where the problem is for the good old Gankplank. You used to be able to just max your oranges and be like, haha, I'm just going to heal for everything and out-sustain. You don't do that anymore, so you are open for all-ins from a Fizz, and it's very easy to land a fish onto you.
And then in the bot lane, obviously the first couple of autos are still in favor of ADC Corki if it comes to a trade. Tristana really gets that damage advantage once she gets to 4 stacks on that E, potentially jump in for amplification, but you need full control of jungle vision for that, and that is something Unicorns of Love haven't really had this entire series.
And I want to see if Origen now sticks to the same kind of lane swaps we saw against Roccat, where it's a lot of focus on getting Soaz as quickly as possible into the wave together with the AD carry and support, so you fast push down that tower 5-10 seconds ahead of the other team. And one thing you need to notice then is Niels as an AD carry, he doesn't go in and start last hitting only, he starts constantly shoving the wave from level 1. So he gets that fast push going, where other AD carries, they sit back, they wait for the last hit, and then they fall behind 5-10 seconds, which can be key for Origen later on in the swap.
And it does look like Origen is going to try and do this. They did not opt for the deep wards initially, they just know Unicorns of Love didn't step into our jungle. It's likely that they're going for traditional lanes. Let's invade here, and they're really going to mess up this duo jungle, especially these barrels set up ready on that blue buff, but all that preparation will go to waste. Mithy can solo zone them out of this jungle. He knows that the smite's been used right now because of the ghost. Almost stole that too. But yeah, this means at least 2 camps on this side, 3 on top, so 5 camps for the dual jungle from Origen. That's fine. Very big advantage.
Bit of a greedy start we have seen before from a Unicorns of Love as well. I mean, if you have a champion where you want to set up some barrels beforehand, do it on your strong side. Do it where you know your dual lane is already, so you guarantee they can get that fast clear. Because it does set them behind, and I keep highlighting it. Look how Niels is constantly just shoving the wave. He's pushing in because he wants Soaz now to join as fast as possible. And the time, Unicorns of Love are far away from this tower. So suddenly, 10-15 seconds will be in favor of Origen. That's enough to decide what's going to happen next in the swap and give Soaz a big advantage when he gets some extra minions as well.
Yeah, let's see if Soaz does stick around for that minion wave in local gold. The one benefit that Unicorns have, Tristana is very, very good at killing towers, as is Gankplank's passive.
Now I want to see what Chachi does once this wave bounces. Yesterday, we saw Steve initiate the freeze and then realize that he would get zoned off. Whereas Soaz, when he knows somebody's going to zone him off a freeze, he will just quickly push the wave backwards when the enemy lanes is approaching. Let's see if Vizicsacsi watched that series and learned.
And again, that's the thing about being fast in the swap, because once you start the freeze, it's at the tower here when it dies. So you're very far away from your own turret. If 2 guys goes down to support an AD carry, which Origen will always do with both Mithy and Niels, they will zone you off the farm. So you basically either have to leave the lane or you have to try and fast push it out, but then suddenly you have a lane where you won't get any farm the next few minutes and you have to swap to the other side.
Interesting adaptation. They gave the gold of the tower fully to Vardags. So it's the first time I see Unicorns of Love play on their hyper carry. Disagree, because it should have gone to Gankplank in my opinion, because he's the champion that needs it, probably just to get it over the pickaxe threshold.
Yeah.
He has a bit of an advantageous matchup now into Corki.
That's the problem for him. When you have to then rush down the tower, you don't get enough for the pickaxe, you just get a second door in his blade. Corki, of course, doesn't really care, because going for the Phage first anyway is just get a longsword, and it's fine, you get some combat stats. building towards the Trinity Force, so he can be okay sharing it with Soaz.
Oren knows Horus behind, so Mithy will have to likely flash out of here.
No more knockup from that QE combo from Azir. That's a flash from Mithy. Soaz is in a little bit of trouble. I take that back because he's got Amazing's help with Vardags. They've got the teleport from Chachi as well.
Cancel.
And a defensive repel.
You have to send two guys up here when you want to push out this wave, because Origen will always have backup ready for Soaz. They value him getting so much farm in the swap. Chachi had to TP up, so it's not worst case for him. But Summoner's being blown from Vardags. In the mid lane as well, though. Peke used both. Amazing, of course, used Flash in the gank.
And Origen pinpointing the weakness here. Going for Vardags, who was on his own trying to clear that wave. Obviously, very easy to predict it too, because Tristana auto pushes on her own.
And now the problem for Chachi is you have a wave that's going to push towards Soaz as well, so you will have to overextend. Amazing can return to this top side if he wants to and force Chachi away. And then make sure Soaz gets that advantage that is so key in these swaps, especially when you have a matchup where the Fizz at level 6 can all in on the Gankplank again and again and again.
And look at where Horo is going. He's going to the bottom side of the map when his top side needs help. There's no communication here. It is much more important for him to assist Vizicsacsi in getting experience and farm. There is no way in hell that Vardags and Hylissang are going to die 2v2 against that wave that is pushing it. Especially since Niels is down in items. Look, he's even basing. So Horo is going all the way from base to the bottom side of the map to get Krugs. He's now walking into an empty lane almost. So he's wasting so much time on his own, and the Unicorns above really need his assistance.
Inefficient pathing from Horo. We did see Amazing at least put a little pressure on Chachi before deciding to pick up his first itemization. Niels has also swapped, so he's going to be heading up to the top lane with Mithy.
Because you can see down the bottom lane, the Tristana, as we mentioned a few times, will automatically push the wave. So the Fizz can now recall and catch another big wave on the bot side. Chachi, on the other hand, is going to have to deal with both Corki and Annie. Once he wants to farm, it's probably going to be shoved into his wave, but it also opens up Mithy to start roaming around the map. And Hylissang is doing exactly the same. So we get these lane swaps that just keep going on, where they keep swapping around. So the support suddenly will no longer sit in a lane. They will fall behind an experience. But if they can assist in a kill in the mid lane or in the jungle, it is definitely worth it.
And that is why Corki has been such a stale meta pick overall. Amazing gets hooked here, but there's no backup just yet. Actually, Horo goes in.
That's an early ignite as well. PowerOfEvil's come to respond. There was no flash. Emperor's Divide goes backwards. First blood picked up by Horo's Lee Sin.
Alive, plenty of backup here. Soaz is looking to assassinate Vardags though, 1v1.
Let's find out. No Chum the Waters or Ignite from Soaz. He's halfway to level 6, so still some time before he can look to go all in for the kill. While all that's going on, Niels is pushing the wave into Vizicsacsi up top as well.
So very good move here from Unicorns, also knowing they had to push in the mid lane, so it's very easy for Azir to move in, provide some backup. Now Horo is going to find Peke.
He is.
Or is he finding
Chain of
Horo?
Corruption does not connect. It's the most missed skill shot in League of Legends, I'm sure. But there is going to be some tower damage onto that middle turret as Peke, no summoners, still gets treasured.
That was a horrible ulti from xPeke.
As we get back to the game, Unicorns of Love have got themselves a kill, have got themselves a tower, and despite some of the mistakes on the map, they are now grouped up in the middle lane. They want to find xPeke. There's no flash.
Oh, I missed it.
But the cannon barrage is burning. Here comes Horo. The resonating strike picks up the kill. He's 2-0 on the blind monk.
I love what Hylissang did initially. Put him next to a wall. We eliminated one dodge angle, but he shot his hook a little bit too late, allowing xPeke to step out. Tricky, tricky, tricky. Good sidestep from xPeke, but doesn't matter when Horo's Lee Sin is on point.
And Unicorn's really playing around this mid lane because Peke had to use both summoners in that early trade we saw. PowerOfEvil had to push so he could join for the first kill, and then now a second one here again. We got Gankplank ulti coming down, slowing him. It's such an easy setup. Really like how they're trying to set up PowerOfEvil again to be a carry and trying to shut down Peke.
Unicorns pushed up top lane day base, and if there's any team that knows how to learn from getting punished from buying too many tiers, it is probably the Unicorns themselves. So they've been in the same boat for many games, so they do know the little power trough you go to before you buy, or when you buy that tier. Eventually you get that power spike, but Peke is stuck on wave clear duty right now. He is still even on CS though, so in terms of farming and itemization, he's still okay. Just need to see if the Unicorns can snowball this pressure on the map, get deep vision, make more picks.
There's something that we've touched on elsewhere throughout the series, and this time never more evident. A lack of tanks on both sides. Yes, you're going to see Elise get a little tanky, but you got Warrior Enchant, Lee Sin as well. And Horo set up with Hylissang. No flash for Hylissang. Mithy is sitting down the bottom half of the map, and
Trying to get some XP.
Yeah.
He's a full level behind Hylissang right now, so he's trying to catch up. And goes down to the bottom. As long as Vardags can farm, he should be okay. Still a way down to Corki, especially in that Triforce versus iEdge matchup.
We've seen a lot more focus from Hylissang though when it comes to enabling the roam together with Horo. These two guys have been part of the kills early on, doing such a good job setting Origen behind, and this has been during the regular season before we came into playoff. The way to shut down Origen's early game was by shutting down Amazing and Mithy. Outplayed him in the early stages with your support jungler, get the map control from it. So far it's been working okay for Unicorns. The one concern is still the fact that Soaz has been getting so much farm, but there's a massive wave being picked up by Chachi. It means Origen can set up something on the bottom lane, because this Gankplank, he does not want to leave this lane at this point.
Soaz was roaming through the jungle. There's some deep vision there. You can see that big wave by Chachi will help balance out the 30 CS down that our Gankplank Pirate has against Soaz. But look at the middle. It's once again another giant party. Let's find out who's got who. Hylissang's caught out, gets a two-man defensive play. The piercing arrow hits from downtown. Kill credit to Mithy.
And this is something we've seen before from Unicorns. You can't do all these things at once. You can't freeze your top lane when Soaz is roaming mid to put pressure and then still try to invade on the right side of the map. You can't do that because Origen will punish you. They just simply have more members in this area. And at the cost of that play will be half the middle tower, if not full.
Also just fun to see. Oh, Fish connecting.
It's going to be a zoning Fish.
Got him out.
But we can really get to see as well the power of like an any Elise combo. If you get the jump onto the other team, stun into Cocoon, the amount of burst damage they had, and then xPeke is shooting the last arrow to make sure they got the kill. Very important for Origen to start bouncing back in that little matchup, a little fight between Amazing Mithy and of course Hylissang and Horo.
And this is maybe the 4th time somebody's been spotted by this ward in Tribush. And if you really want to play around your bot lane, you need to bring a pink ward or avoid that spot. It's the easiest place to ward, and Horo has been spotted out continuously over time the last 3 minutes. Now it's been swept, but that ward was 30 seconds from expiring, so very inefficient sweeping and communication again. And Unicorns are too obvious in their pathing, and it allows Origen to just punish them.
And now once again, big wave top going towards Soaz. xPeke knows, okay, nobody's going to be in the top side of the map, so they can only be in the bottom side because nobody's obviously going to show up here with the massive wave. So a lot of fights again around this dragon. While nobody seems to care about the dragon because again, it will slow down the game. It's about getting the kills right now. It's about getting that lane advantage. And both supports still roaming around.
Yeah, but Hylissang's got access to the box. Mithy does not have access to Tibbers. Level 6 versus level 4 still. And you know, yesterday when Roccat picked Azir, Origen used a very quick tower knockdown strategy to gain an advantage in the early game to punish the weaker wave clear early from Azir. They haven't had the same opportunity despite that previous group in the middle.
I would love to see that pink ward they have in the tri-bush up top be moved into the bush in the river from Origen because they have had full control of top side, and that would make it so easy to set up these plays here. Looks like Horo's going to bring it to Origen though. They're going in at least.
Chum the waters. Vizicsacsi's going to get caught, stunned up by Mithy. You don't need Tibbers. The Lantern comes out, but the damage over time from the Trident and Ignite gets Origen their second kill.
I absolutely love this play from Mithy, moving into the brush when you know the lane's freezing. Either they're going to come and gank, bring more members. Amazing's there too. So this was all pre-planned a minute in advance from Origen. And they managed to make it stick, even though Vizicsacsi ate an orange. Mithy just simply flashes after, stuns him. And Amazing kept Horo busy, and then they predicted what the Unicorns were going to do. They knew what they were going to do before the Unicorns really had it all figured out themselves.
And it's just that super annoying situation as a top lane, and when a wave is pushing away from you, you can't just ignore it because you can't fall further behind. You are Gankplank, you need Trinity Force, you need Infinity Edge, very expensive items. So you need to show yourself there. And either if you're there alone, you just die to the gank. If your teammates show up, you might even lose the 3v3 because the jump is in favor of Origen. That also gives Mithy a lot of experience, falling so far behind, but then being part of a kill. Now he's level 6.
And that's the difference. Hylissang, yes, he's out-leveling Mithy, but that's because Mithy is pathing to the areas where he's needed a lot quicker. Eventually, he catches up due to these kills. He's checking Horo right now, pink ward goes down. But Hylissang, he was still around mid when Mithy was already positioned in that brush, so yeah, a little quicker on the trigger on the side of Origen.
That's going to be how Origen can win this matchup. With the Fizz, with the Annie, to get those combos together. Fan votes at home heavily.
About as one-sided as Soaz CS at the moment over Chachi. Like, what do you do as a Gankplank? You need about what? How much gold do you need? 7,000, 8,000 for Infinity Edge, Trinity Force. And that's only for you to really start becoming super strong. Again, you need even more than later on if you want to be a late game carry. Chachi might have to just go for the Ghost Blade second because you won't get the gold possibly not get the goal to get a BF sword and Infinity Edge after Trinity Force is completed, and that delays the whole late game build, but will at least make him a little bit stronger.
And this is the snowball right now. Gankplank is slowly pushing out bot wave, but that leaves the rest of the map 5 against 4, especially 5 against 3 if top lane is pushing out slowly as well. Amazing now gets hooked, but he should be fine. There should be enough backup to zone them out. PowerOfEvil is still dealing with that wave. Vizicsacsi wasn't in position, and whenever Gankplank slowly pushes out and slowly gets that gold, well, he loses more gold for his team when another tower goes down, so when an objective goes down. Origen is punishing pretty hard right here.
And then tower goes down, deep wards get into the jungle. The composition from Unicorns, they engage from them as a hook, like we see here from Hylissang, or maybe a flank from Horror. That's how they started. Otherwise, the Varus and the Corki are going to be so safe in the back line. They can take down the Dragon super easily right here as well. Chachi trying, but once these deep wards come in, this like we talked about in the last game, once you get the flanks warded up against so little hard engage on the side of Unicorns, suddenly the Varus will really kick in and become powerful, and Azir will have a hard time doing anything.
It just feels like Unicorns are now being dragged around the map. Vardags is going to be able to at least get the tower up in the top lane, as Soaz, well, he's found Hylissang with the help of Peke.
Can't afford to take that path. Good thing that Vardags takes the top tower. Horror stole the red buff, but they're losing too much at the other side of the map. This is like a cross map. Dragon goes down, okay, we go top, but you have to get back in time to not lose the bottom side of your map again, because there's nothing you can take that remains in the top side. Origen's overall taking more than Unicorns can acquire due to the advantageous vision control they've gotten in the jungle.
And now there's 2 Trinity Forces. There's Distortion, Moby Boots for Mithy. Manimmune's been picked up by Peke. He's actually sitting on 1,700 gold, so he's going to get some armor penetration in a few seconds. Origen were already looking good. Now they've just hit a nice spike in itemization that's going to allow them to do even more to Unicorns.
And the way Origen have been playing out around towers has been so low risk. There's so little Unicorns can do to punish them. It's not tower diving them this time around. No, it's just always have that numbers advantage or read where Unicorns are setting their members, and then you just slowly push down the tower. No real threat on you.
Now this is the point of the game though where you can stop the bleeding. Unicorns are only 1.5k gold behind. They're going in for a blue steal here. I'm sure you like that, Martin, overall. But if they can stop the bleeding and they can even out the gold, they're still in this game. They have triple damage composition.
If they don't die.
Oh, amazing.
If they don't die, let's see who's going to be in trouble. Soaz has found Horo. Dragon's Rage will not be enough to save him, and Amazing gets out. So yes, they get the blue steal, but they lose their jungler in the process. The tower makes it worthwhile.
Blue steal is always worth it, Trevor.
Yes, it is. Hylissang gets the play on Mithy. Tibbers comes out. I think there was no stun charge. Mithy's going to be in trouble. Vardags wants to go aggressive as Peke is now in trouble. There is a flash for Peke, and he's got home guard boots on, I think those are. I don't know with Distortion earlier. Regardless, Niels pushing up in the top lane as it looks like Unicorns of Love stick around middle.
At this point here, if you are the Unicorns and you're getting so close to taking the kills, you just gotta all in for them because you need something. You're losing your side lane. Soaz is gonna join in, and Hylissang, there's a trap.
It is a trap. The flash goes nowhere. He goes to the Grom. Hilly tries to escape, but he won't get away from Chum the Waters. The Narwhal, Killer Whale rather, gets the kill credit. Here comes PowerOfEvil. He's got the help of Horo. Defensive flash from Mithy, and this is getting messy. Cannon Barrage comes down from Vizicsacsi.
nowhere close.
Gonna hold him in place. Big crit there from Vizicsacsi, and here comes PowerOfEvil from the river. Playful Trickster's out. Niels, he goes aggressive, but he eats a powder kick. He gets one. Manages to stay alive a few seconds longer. Soaz now looking for more. Emperor's Divide trades it back. Unicorns have got themselves 2 kills on the back foot as Peke gets chunked down. Commanding Sands comes out from PowerOfEvil, and they're going to turn. It's not done yet. Soaz still going to take him on a chase. The man that died to start it all is the man that will not connect the death sentence. He will find the flay, however. Pulls Horo in. Can the kill get donated to Vardags? No. Horo says he wants it.
Not going to risk it, though. Soaz suddenly jumping over the wall or something, killing Vardags. But such a good fight from Unicorns of Love. Managed to chase away the ulti from Vizicsacsi as well. At first, Origen is in control, and you're reading this.
Buys enough time with this maneuver. Look at it. Tension goes down, any stun goes down. Amazing uses Q. Now Horus full HP. PowerOfEvil comes in, is not challenged. Niels makes the right decision here, going, but look at where xPeke is, and look where Vardags is flanking.
Yeah, because Vardags on his way, he's going to cut off Peke, and then the ulti from Chachi is great. Niels realizing he's not going to be able to escape, just wants to kill. But with PowerOfEvil still being here and so healthy...
But why is OG fighting then? That's the problem. This is miscommunication. Niels is saying, I will go suicide 1 for 1, But OG, they decide to take that fight, and then they donate 2 more kills, and that is the biggest difference. They can't afford to misinterpret these fights and clutch decisions, because that was a big mistake by them. And props to Unicorns, they really capitalized on that play. They really capitalized on the greed and had to even out the game.
Yeah, take a lead in the overall gold for the game as we hit 20 minutes. We saw how Unicorns struggle when they have a gold deficit at 20. They've got IH, they've got Triforce, a bunch of kills on their carries. And you know, Krepo, you said in the pregame, Chaos style was a thing, and it seems to be coming back in what could be Unicorn's last game.
Not touching that one. That was a joke. Chaos style is not a thing. I'm just taunting.
That's going to be your talk. I'm not part of it.
Yeah, I'm really taunting Monte Cristo here. I don't think it's the right style. But it works. Chaos style is the best in the world. Back to actual analysis. Show.
Not really sure why Unicorns were sending 4 guys to the bottom side. Now Hylissang is walking straight into Soaz.
Soaz is going to be chunking him down. Playful's up, even though he gets caught by the death sentence. Won't be enough for the kill. Why did the Chaos comes down?
It just looked so good for Unicorns after that fight where they punished Origen. Suddenly 4 guys walk down to the bottom side. Origen takes a free top tower, and now this. Free kill for Origen. They still have poke. It's very, very strong. With 20 minutes in, the Corki is in the power spike. The Varus at the same time. You're just going to push down this mid lane.
It's barrel mechanics, barrel mechanics. Someone's going to get hit, and it does chunk Niels for about 30% of his hit points. But Origen are going to rely on the poke from xPeke and not overcommit.
The fact that Origen did manage to get a tier 2 tower in the top lane is big for them, because it just gives them a little bit extra gold. It is so hard to snowball and get remaining towers before the enemy teams even them out. Now we're 4 towers to 3. Kills are pretty even. Fight for blue buff. xPeke is helping. Game is pretty close, but the Unicorns, they really need to start thinking ahead more. That one play was good because it happened slowly, and everybody could see what was going to happen. Unicorns were finally on the same page, but they kind of stopped talking. They're like, okay guys, we aced them. Now we can win the game, and then they just really don't know what to do next.
It's more difficult with all outer towers down. You have to go quite deep into enemy territory to get any more of those objectives. Origen will at least get their second dragon completely uncontested. Deep vision. Not the greatest, but there is a few wards from Origen inside Unicorn's jungle.
That's right, it's a twitch.
Very cheeky recall position.
Well, here's the thing, and again, it's boring to always keep mentioning the vision and so on, but
it's not boring, Deficio. I like it.
You like it, fine. But for Unicorns of Love, in order for them to really execute this composition properly and get the fights onto this poke composition, they need those deep wards here, because you've got to be able to set up the flank with your Elise, and you can't just rely on Hylissang walking forward, land one hook and say, guys, that's a fight, let's go. Because that's too easy for Origen to play around. And therefore, once you get a kill, once you get one kill, or Origen makes one mistake, you gotta capitalize, not necessarily by taking a tower, but by getting into their jungle, get the wards down, and then use them the next few minutes to your advantage. It's setting up 3 minutes before something even happens.
Problem is, we've not seen that from Unicorns actually most of the year. As a team, the joke around Chaos Style thrived when it came to these slightly messy games, and they took advantage of the mess and the misplays to get their advantage.
Only advantage in not predicting or planning what you do is that your opponent can't do it either. If you don't know what you're going to do next, how will Origen ever predict it?
Well, let us take your towers.
Yes.
Yeah, you can run around the jungle all you want.
Lawyered, I give up. Chaos style is bad.
Well, as it stands, Unicorns and Origen are on even footing. There's 1 tower extra for Origen, but it's Unicorns on the offensive. They've grouped up middle with that Sundisk as backup.
And you cannot just push against the Varus. He's going to wave clear so easily. Even Niels can join. So now down the bottom lane, someone needs to deal with Soaz, who's pushing in. He's going to go for his Nash's Tooth second item build once again. So he really wants to be able to shove down these towers. But it makes him very, very, very squishy for fights.
And every time Vizicsacsi groups for some of these plays that the Unicorns are setting up, he loses 1 or 2 waves on the side lane. And 1 or 2 waves isn't much, but over time that accumulates and just stalls or launches Soaz even further ahead to the point where Chachi can't even deal with it anymore. And that's when the Unicorns get in trouble, if Origen can abuse the split push to their advantage.
And you get the problem as well, when you can't start the fight, the poke will land at some point. You might see 10 skill shots getting missed, but then number 11 will hit. And once you start slowly getting chunked, you will have to go back to base suddenly. And that opens up for Origen then to move away from the tower in towards the river and start setting up for Dragon or Baron. And now you got to deal with face checking into poke, into anti-tippers, into ulti from a Varus.
No tippers.
Okay, no tippers.
That tip is not the greatest for Mithy, slightly.
Well, it was the point.
It.
He had to face check in.
The thing is, there is one ward on Baron in the pit that Origen haven't found, and they assumed it was complete darkness. Therefore, they assumed Horo would face check further. Thank you, observers. That lone ward will buy enough time for Unicorns to, get the Oscar. Just act as if, oh guys, we don't see what's going on in Baron. We have to face check and then juke out every time somebody tries to punish you.
Entire time that this vision game has been played out in the top half of the map, Soaz is only now leaving the bottom lane. He kept shoving it in, waiting for Chachi to show and playing it safe. He's not even recalling, actually. Got teleports available, so Origen relatively committed to their numbers in the top half and seeing how long Soaz can maintain control in the bottom lane.
Soaz is just lulling Vizicsacsi into a false sense of security. Chachi knows he has to be careful on certain brushes, but once he gets pushed farther...
Why is Horo down here?
Trying to make a pick, maybe get some vision out so Vizicsacsi can at least push out far enough. He's not dropping any wards though, not a team player. But and then suddenly Baron.
This ward is still there. It's gonna expire obviously just in a few more seconds, and Origen's gonna see it, so they realize...
They don't even see it.
Oh, they don't even get to see it. Getting removed.
Teleports traded though. Soaz did TP in for that play. Chachi cancelled his. Maybe not actually if he arrived. We'll watch those cooldowns in a little bit.
And Chachi right now is giving up on the Infinity second item dream for Gankplank, and Vardags, he's giving up on his life.
Well, he's down. Soaz is going to find him the tick. More than enough and an easy kill for Soaz.
So again, we get to see their tanky route from the Gankplank, which is just not very effective. I mean, it loses a lot of your carry potential, but again, he's so far behind. That is where I like to see Ghostblade second coming in though, if you are that far behind.
It's going to delay the Baron a few more seconds, and there's no real tankiness on the side of Origen, so they don't want to take this kill. Oro's going to ride the Lantern to safety, but they've chunked out the jungler.
And this is what happens when Unicorns don't have that ward. So that is what Origen was expecting to happen. Obviously, they made a mistake and didn't quite clear out that Baron area enough. They took enough damage, though, from Gankplank, AoE ulti, and a couple of Barons to stop that in the process. So Origen will now have to back up and rebuild that entire vision. So it's a slow process. It involves Soaz pushing bot, then moving out, clearing the vision, then deep warding, and then punishing.
But they can keep doing it because, again, there's no reaction from Unicorns. There's 0 wards behind them. There's no risk of a flank. Chachi will never be able to stand 1 versus 1 against the Fizz. So that means Origen will keep having that control on the map until Unicorns pulls out a very, very risky engage. But at this time, you almost just have to do it because you can't wait for Origen to take over the map.
But Origen, if they keep doing it but inefficiently and they screw it up a couple times, that allows Unicorns to scale, and that's what Unicorns are hoping for. This is exactly what I believe Origen did in the series against Rocket. A couple of deep wards every time just to stall the Baron long enough for their composition to come online, especially in game 1 against Rocket. To see if the Unicorns have watched that, to learn from that. If Origen have perfected their Baron baits, but you can't afford to leave a ward in the pit. That is like Baron 101.
Yeah, but right now, there is a little bit more time for Unicorns because there's no TP for Soaz. He used it before, so he can't really show himself on the bottom side. That makes it a lot easier for Unicorns to set up that potential engage. They gotta land the hook though, or the Q from Horo and start the fight.
It's the engage. Talisman of Ascension comes out. Flash tippers onto Hylissang. They're going to focus the support. They've got themselves 1 kill. They invested a fair amount for that, but Chum the Waters is still up. He's going to connect onto Horo. Horo's not going to carry it further, though. Piercing arrow comes out. He's going to flash over the wall, or ward hop, rather. I'm going to see some barrel mechanics to clear the wave. So, Hylissang is down. Origen peel back. They've got vision superiority around Baron, and they're going to force the face check. Cannon Barrage is up for Chachi. How are UOL going to respond? Baron below 50%. They're going to be maybe in time. No, they're not. They're too late. Baron is secured by Origen at 28 minutes. Chain of Corruption goes way wide. PowerOfEvil cleanse what I believe was a Mithy stun. Chachi's going to be chunked up. Yes, plus the Missile Barrage. Now Vardags is the next target. He's going to get slowed by that hail of arrows, and Origen decide to back away, not overcommitting.
So Origen gets the engage because once again they're in the dark, they pop everything they have. Unicorn's not in a position where they can get onto the backlines, they have to run away, gives up a kill. Then we just see Origen go straight back to Baron. Would love to see that Chachi also being placed just around the entire pit.
Yep.
Knowing that, okay, we can't get in there in time, get them as low as possible, so for the fight after, we might be able to take them down. Origen had room to kite around, and we saw how low Soaz was.
Good decision making around that ultimate. Niels stepped into the pit. Origen says, okay, we're in time. Horo can't reach us. Vardags almost got the reset. I think if he Managed to just not jump the full distance. He could have maybe turned around and killed Soaz quicker. Soaz did fail to hop into wall though, so obviously can't expect that to come out. Could have been ugly for Origen, but good decisive shot calling around Baron is what they've shown in multiple games so far in the series. Took a long while for them to perfect that Baron bait, but eventually they did get it.
Yeah, that's the thing, they get rewarded. We're still only 29 minutes into the game. They are ahead in gold to 3,000 at this point. But they've been betting around that Baron for such a long time because Unicorns doesn't seem to have any plays to make. They're not setting themselves up in a position where they can make a play. So they're relying now on the outplay. They're basically relying on Origen to make a mistake. We need someone to overextend, get hooked by Hylissang, and they can pull him in and they can start the fight, or Horo to kick someone back. But again, that requires Origen to make that mistake. And
that shows in the scores as well. Hylissang is often desperately looking for these hooks, overstepping. Pirates on amazing now, no follow-up.
Cannon Barrage does come in though. Defensive flash, Ignite is ticking, and Amazing will survive. But very nearly losing their jungler. That Sundisc from Azir is going to at least stall out some of this Baron time. Origen have the lead. Origen have one more foot in the World Championship. But they need to break through the inhibitor base, and it's Soaz pushing top that wants to do it.
And that was the kind of hooks you can get before the team start setting up these wards here on the flank, because there was nothing really in the jungle to spot Hylissang. So very nice hook from him, but just not enough to get the kill. And now Origen will get the map control once again. You can see the wards. They're going on Soaz though.
Soaz may be able to turn this one around. The barrels come out. He's going to trade 1-for-1 most likely. The kill is secured by Chachi's Gankplank, but here come the rest of Origen, and the Unicorns are split. Tibbers stuns Vardags. Niels is going to flash over the barrel. He's got an explosive charge in his head, but it won't kill him. Mithy managed to get a kill onto Vardags as well. 3 members of the Unicorns are down. Make that 4, in fact. PowerOfEvil is going to do the best he can to defend, but it's 1-on-4 with Baron minions on the way to the tower. Origen may be able to break open the base at 31 minutes thanks to Soaz's split push. Talisman of Ascension is coming out and the cocoon doesn't connect. But the objectives are secured, and for Origen, they now have super minions as well.
Origen finally take that on inhibitor rather. PowerOfEvil couldn't get his soldiers in place because Origen as a unit stormed at him. You may take one of us down, but you'll die in the process. Inhib tower falls. Inhib falls 2. Finally an opening. OG made a bit of an overreach there. Soaz did get caught, plus a flash. But then Unicorns, they need to back off. They walked forward into that lane, not expecting Origen just simply to rotate, aggressively shut them down.
Let's see it again. Hylissang goes in with Chachi. They want to just see if we get 1 kill, we can force the rest of Origen back into base. But Soaz gets a kill for himself and kites around a little bit. So now you can see the rest of the Origen teams are coming in. And by now, Chachi and Vardags just have to try and run away. And Horo even trying to do his best to stop them from dying, but ends up just being even more people going down.
Well played by Origen, punishing Unicorns. Not really planning.
They want Soaz again, though.
This could be smart.
But at what cost? Look at this. Soaz is going in a PowerOfEvil. Emperor's Divide actually may delay this. Unicorns are committing. Look at Origen. They're pushing through the middle lane with Niels. Soaz is down, but Niels will get some damage on this tower.
Amazing is going to try and stop the recalls, but I think he's too late. So Niels on the mid lane tower with the rest of Origen now. If they take it down, the kill was not worth it for Unicorns, but they have to try something.
Look behind, teleport comes in. This could be a decent fight, but Chachi is alone very early.
He is alone, he's gonna go down 3v1. Chachi's trying to get away, puts a barrel down, but it simply will not matter. And in the background, Amazing's even able to get a kill onto Vardags. Horo's gone low. It's completely coming apart at the seams. Origen have got 6,000 gold, more than their opponents. They are gonna get another inhibitor. And the flight from xPeke Airlines that Amazing and Niels want to board to Worlds is going to be booked soon. Origen just have to focus the Nexus.
You see though again, Unicorns trying to get the engage. Chachi teeping in behind. He got that Infinity Edge second, so at least he got some gold for himself. Thus means he's very squishy. He's not the guy you want to flank, but they have to try. I mean, they got that kill on the Fizz in the bottom lane, and when you fall this far behind, desperation might be your best bet.
You have to go for a split, just didn't quite connect. Maybe if they all bought home guards and rushed out of the base quick enough, could have been it. I think they committed too much on a kill on Soaz. They really didn't believe in PowerOfEvil canceling that Soaz Q with ulti. They all pathed around the same way, then forced Vizicsacsi to use his ultimate. Imagine if Chachi didn't use Cannon Barrage on that bot lane, he could use it mid. Suddenly we had a whole different, not a whole different game, but a whole different 2 minutes of the game. That could have been enough. Good flank TP, but
Could have saved an inhibitor.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah.
Back to Baron now, and Horo plays the ward on the other side of the Baron. So he doesn't have the same one as before, and I do believe Origen now have learned the lesson, because against Rocket yesterday, the same kind of ward was in the way. And now they should bring a pink or a sweeper.
It's when you respect your opponents enough that you think, they'll never ward the pit, right? Who does that these days? Because we'll sweep it. They'll ward outside of the pit. And then you mind game them by being, well, not so, not so smart and actually warding the pit. Beautiful.
34 minutes. We do see that Infinity Edge finally completed for Chachi. But it might be too little and it might be too late.
We haven't really touched on it too much, but due to the abundance of vision control, Origen is sitting quite comfortably on 3 dragons to none.
Oh yeah, Dragon is in the game.
Dragon's in the game. I mean, if all else fails, just occasionally casually walk by that pit, because I don't think Unicorns of Love have even seen what the Dragon looks like this game.
As long as you don't sacrifice anything for it.
Yeah.
So right now it's easy peasy, take the Dragon. Except for the fact that you don't give up the Baron area. So I don't 100% agree with Origen walking towards it. And I can see they decided to say as well, oh, we don't need all 4 guys.
I think
yeah, they can solo it, so that's okay. But now Soaz needs to be a little bit careful, because they're very split up on the map.
I think it's fine going for Dragon unless you sacrifice a Scuttle Crab.
It's fine if you give one guy for it.
And you can ward, you can always kill wards, but you can't get rid of that Scuttle Crab. That's going to be a pesky nuisance for at least like 90 seconds, so...
And as they're doing now again, just keep amazing on his own, because the other guys is enough of a threat to force Unicorns away from it. But it does give Unicorns an opening to get plenty of wards in the Baron pit at least.
But insurance claim for Origen, you know, if all else fails, 5 dragons, and we can still board a Slackmore Airline Worlds. Are they starting Baron? Yeah, they're 2-manning Baron.
That boarding pass is basically being written for Origen. The number 3 seed from Europe. Soaz walked the super minions in. Soaz is pulling attention. This is again the same play, but it's Dragon number 4. It's Baron for Origen. Soaz is still alive. He hops over the wall. The soldiers come through, and it gets the kill. But with Baron on 4 members of Origen, with only 1 Nexus turret remaining, Origen just have to get over that final hurdle.
And this is the kind of game where you start hating Soaz really when you play against him, because he can be so annoying when he's dancing around in your base. He's constantly split pushing, and it can just feel like so good to walk down and kill him. Just 4 guys, you know, get that kill. You know anyway the Baron is lost. At least get something.
Reminds me of a Chow Mei or Kao Mei Rengar World League. Just can't get rid of him. He's always in your base, and by the time you kill him, they take something else somewhere on the map.
I know, it's always these top laners, man. McNoon did the same.
I actually feel the Unicorns probably hated Soaz earlier. He stole away their Maokai pick. But as it stands, Peke.
Crushed dreams, broken hearts, and the gets.
Yep. As well as the rest of Origen, they are now grouped up. The top lane inhibitor has respawned.
It does slow him down though. Soaz still has the path. He doesn't really want to go for the aggressive teleport. Origen, slow and steady, wins the race. Slow and steady eventually destroys the base. Worst case, they fail this push and then they go back to Baron
and they get
Dragon.
Aspect.
And
then they get the 5 dragons.
Yeah, 5 dragons. I mean,
finished in style. If you're going to Worlds, make it pretty.
5 dragons, Baron. We need Elixir of Iron on all fabulous. 5 members.
And then you wait for the Zeke's proc so you look gold when the photo comes, the Nexus.
I like that. We'll have to wait a long time because there's no Zeke's Harbinger for Mithy yet, but I'm willing. I'm willing to commit to that for it stands. Origen are not. Soaz has pulled up a big minion wave to face Chachi in the bottom lane, and Hylissang looks for a Hail Mary hook, and it does not connect. Origen continue to poke away. There's 3 members in the bottom half of the map. That means the top inhibitor surely is going to fall. Niels not running the risk of going too close, and PowerOfEvil still zoning for a while. That banner-empowered, Baron-empowered cannon minion is doing a lot of work.
Horo needs to be behind the Origen team here, otherwise he cannot do anything, and there's no way to stop them from just pushing in further and further. You got to go for that all-in engage. And he baited us.
He managed to get the Chain of Corruption though, did not connect. Amazing repelled up as well. But with that time waster, Soaz has pushed half of the inhibitor's HP down in the bottom lane. Now Origen are playing inside the base of the Unicorns of Love.
Unicorns of Love being set up for an excruciating defeat. If you want to go down, this is not the way. Slowly torn apart, slowly spread through thin. We're likely going to see a panic engage of some sorts come out. They're ready to pull the trigger. 2 inhibs down, third one going down, and right now they want Soaz.
They definitely do. Chum the Waters has been used from Soaz, so we can't channel it. The inhibitor's standing though. They've killed Vardags just off screen. Niels has got himself a second as xPeke secures the third inhibitor in the base. Super minions will be pouring through, and for Origen, 3 inhibitors down, looking for 3-0 to take down the Unicorns of Love. The European regional third place seed is about to be finalized. The second best team in Europe, Origen, pushing Fnatic all the way, getting pushed by Roccat, obliterate Unicorns of Love, and book their tickets to Paris.
This has to be the least excited I'm going to World Celebration I've ever seen in my life. It's like, yay!
The amount of pressure on Origen still coming into the Gauntlet. You were so close.
They could only lose.
They could, yeah, basically.
This is not a win for them. This is just a continuation of games.
Yep.
If they've lost anything, they would have lost.
Everyone talked about how they deserved to go to Worlds after they showed up against Fnatic, and now they get it. 3-0. Game 1 was a close one. We saw Unicorns with some good plays, some good engages, catching out Origen a few times. This game here as well, while it was even in gold, it never felt like Unicorns took the next step in trying, okay, how are we now going to close the game? How are we now going to push this advantage? And Origen felt like they were in control basically the entire time.
What have we learned from Origen then, from watching them against Roccat go through the trials and trepidations, and now against Unicorns? I feel their highs, their ceiling is very good. They have the capability to perform well, but they've demonstrated a lot of mistakes and weaknesses over the last 8 games.
I think overall they play poke compositions well. Soaz knows how to play 4-1s, especially carry top laners. He has unlocked, hey, I too can play Maokai, something we always have a question mark, you know, can he play tanks? Yes, he can, clearly.
Can he? Will he?
Will he is the question, but can he? But overall, they've also shown some weaknesses. And whether it's due to individual play or just the way the team is set up, we can't deny the fact that xPeke got ganked a lot and died in the process. Whether that's a team issue or just a little bit carelessness from xPeke, that might be a potential weakness going to Worlds.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising because coming into the summer split, Origen won a lot of games by just being better individually than some of the other teams. They would just stomp them in the laning phase almost and just roll over them.
Except xPeke, who then was farming to like 240 CS with Vladimir.
Yeah.
That was kind of the joke when he said, okay, these guys are playing 4v5, you know, this is why I pay them, this is why I'm the boss.
Yeah, sure.
And it worked.
But then, now when we see some of the plays they're pulling off where it is the correct play to make, they fail the execution. You know, they miss a skill shot here and there, or they go in too early in the dive.
How dare they?
Or whatever it is. That is their, I mean, that's why we got to see them get back to where the mechanical play really is spot on from them. It is still is. I mean, we see some fantastic players on this team, but that's where we see some mistakes. Because I feel like macro-wise strategy, they have some very good calls they're making. They're good at using the minion waves. They're good at using the side lanes and vision control as well between Mithy and of course, Amazing is almost spot on right now. We just got to see them be able to execute the plays a little bit better, and then of course avoid getting these early deaths in the mid lane. Something we do have to compliment them for. They have never been out-picked or out-drafted in the sense that they can't play a champion. They mastered all 3 flex picks. This series, Shen didn't really come to the table, but they've shown Soaz can play it if he wants to. Probably doesn't seem to me like Soaz, I love Shen, but Mithy can play it too.
Love is a strong word, but he has played it twice, in fact.
So they mastered the flex picks, Shen, Lulu, etc. And Fizz, for example, they can play Kalista. Niels can handle himself in a hyper carry composition. Sure. So they have a depth of strategy, and that's what you need at least going to Worlds.
And I want to mention Niels as well. This is his rookie split. This is the first time that he's played on the big stage. He's shown absolutely zero cares for his opponent or for his situation. He always delivers. Always. There are very few times you can look at him the split and go, that was a monumental mistake. And that's fantastic. For the rest of the players on the stage, they all have Worlds experience. They all have a wealth of experience. But as a team, also, they're rookie split. And they're making it to Worlds. Yes, it's the 3rd seed. It's the most difficult seed you can get.
Yeah.
With NA 3rd seed and international wildcards. So you're going to be paired with very difficult teams in your groups. And that's definitely going to be something that Origen have 1 month to look at, 1 month to prepare. and plan how they're going to play around.
But we see how important being able to adapt between games is, especially for Origen, because now it had so many extra games here in playoffs and the Gauntlet. We keep seeing small changes in the pick and ban phase. Mithy came out yesterday and said, okay, we had bad priority on certain picks. It got fixed towards the last game when they first picked the Braum, and it worked really well for them. And now we see them have answers to everything Unicorns are doing in this series here. Oh, Victor, let's run poke against it. Oh, Azir, okay, we can just pick poke again. Funny enough against it. You want to run
All the
Gankplank?
answers to poke.
Fizz is ready to counter the Gankplank and so on. They had answers ready here, and we get to see like Hermit and Ducky, the two guys working behind the coach and the analyst, really show that they can adapt as well with the team.
Well, they definitely can, and because of their ability to adapt and run the European Gauntlet, Origen will be the 3rd seed from Europe. Let's head to the analyst desk and talk to our newest World Championship